What's up, everyone? Rob here with Our Keeler Outdoors. I promised you guys we're going to go over my rods, and that's what we're doing today. So I'm going to go through a couple of my rods, a couple of my technique-specific rods. I'm going to give you a good budget one, I think, that if you can only afford one rod, this is the one I would buy on a budget. So let's jump into it. Let's not waste time. So I'm gonna start with my bread and butter. I like to flip wood structure here in PA. So first rod I'm breaking out is my flipping stick. So this is a Favorite Pro Series. And here's the specs on it, which I'm gonna go over. I don't know how well you guys can see that. And I'll take a picture of each and cut that in, see if that helps at all. We already went over the reels. I'll just touch on them real quick and let you know what reel I would put on here speed-wise. So this is, like I said, a Favorite Pro Series, and this is in the 7.6 heavy, and it's fast. Heavy 7.6 heavy fast action. And that's my flipping stick. This is what I go with, that 7.6. Gets them up out of the wood quick, and I like a fast reel on it, so 8 1-to-1, and this is a Daiwa Tatula SV. Yeah, that's my flipping setup. So 7.6 heavy Pro Series, and I have a couple of them. I actually use it as my jig rod too. So when I'm flipping tubes, Texas rig creatures, and I'm flipping it in cover, wood cover most of the time. Those 7.6 heavies help me hook that fish, get them up out of that tree pretty quick. I use my jig for it too, and I've noticed fishing Favorite rods over the last couple of years that Favorite rods seem to be a little softer than other rods, where that heavy fishes a little closer to a medium heavy than it does your traditional heavy, which I like, because when I put that jig on that 7.6 heavy, I can skip it pretty much anywhere I want that bait to go, and still have a little bit more backbone than your traditional medium heavy rod, which usually skips better. So yeah, flipping setup, 7.6 heavy, fast action, Favorite Pro Series is my favorite flipping stick. And this one's actually the Pro Series. I do have the GOAT Pro flipping stick, which is the Pro Series Andy Morgan's personal rod. So almost identical in spec, 7.6 heavy, fast. Those are my two flipping rods. Next, I'm gonna go with my shaky head rod. So I throw my shaky head on a Baitcaster, which is different than most people. You can see that's the shaky head I was fishing in the tournament. And this is a Ducket Insight, and this one's a medium fast action rod, 7 foot. 7 foot medium fast action rod. This thing is light, so light, I could keep it in my hands all day. And I have a fast reel on that one, 8 1-to-1. This is actually a Daiwa Tatula Elite. So yeah, for my shaky heads, anything lighter Texas rigs, I like to put on this medium rod. And yeah, Ducket Insight, 7 foot, medium, fast rod. Oh, next, what do I want to show you guys next? So I'll grab this one. And this is the one, if you've been watching my videos, I've been throwing my lipless on it, and that's that lipless I've been doing a lot of damage on. And this is usually my chatterbait rod. I've started to throw my lipless on it just because I like the way it feels. I like the way it makes longer casts. But this is a Favorite Fire Stick. And this is a 7'2" medium heavy moderate fast rod. So it loads up a little bit more than those fast action ones. And I like being fast with my chatterbait. This slows me down just enough on that hook set, because most of the time I'm fighting it through grass or cover. This slows me down just enough, and it actually going from a fast to a moderate fast on my chatterbait has increased my hookup ratio on it. I don't want to go all the way to a moderate. I feel like that overloads on the chatterbait and you lose some power, because I use those jackhammers and it has a stout hook. But yeah, this is my chatterbait rod, and I've been throwing my traps on it lately. So 7.2, medium heavy, moderate fast fire stick, and I got 7.3 to 1 Tatula SV on here. So that's my chatterbaits and what's become kind of my rattle traps this early spring. Next, we'll go with the jerkbait. So I've already showed you this rod and the different action. This is also a favorite pro series, and this one is also a medium action, moderate fast. This one's 6'8", 6'8", medium, moderate fast. And again, I like that moderate fast for the jerkbait, and I'll explain why. So if you go moderate on a jerkbait, the rod loads a lot longer. So I feel like you lose a little bit of that darting action because half of that motion is the rod loading, and then you get a twitch at the end. With the moderate fast, I feel like it moves that jerkbait a little quicker. So when I make that long cast and I'm hitting it, I'm getting a little more action out of my jerkbait. So that's why I go with a moderate fast instead of a moderate. I do like the medium action on it for the 110 jerkbaits. And I go with the 6'8", even though I'm 6'4". 6'8" lets me throw that jerkbait pretty much anywhere on my boat, and I don't have to worry about hitting my tip on my boat, smacking the water with my tip. It just gives me it's just short enough that I can jerk it in weird directions. I could jerk it pretty much anywhere and not have to worry about smacking my boat or the water. So, and on this, I'm throwing this is a Daiwa Tatula, and this is an Elite as well, and a 8 1-to-1. So fast reel on this for my jerkbait too, and that's because with that jerkbait, I'm picking up slack. I'm using the slack line to hit that jerkbait, and I want to pull up that slack, and I want to get on that fish when I see that line jump or I feel that tick. So I use a fast action reel with my jerkbait, and anything I'm walking top water, I'll use a fast action reel with. Next, let's go with my heavy flipping and frogging rod. So if I'm in heavy cover and I'm flipping and frogging, throwing braid, this is the rod that I've been going with lately. And this is a 7'3", extra heavy, extra fast. And this is a favorite Defender. And this was actually the Lunkers TV one for a while. But yeah, 7'3", extra heavy, extra fast. This is my meat stick. And like I said, favorites are a little lighter action than the other ones. This fish is like a not quite extra heavy, closer to a heavy. But I like that 7'3" for walking that frog through the slop. I know a lot of people when they're in a slop like a longer rod. This allows me to walk that frog pretty easily at my height and still have enough muscle to bring him on out of that slop. And when I'm flipping heavy grass, this is what I'm going to put my braid and my heavier tungsten weight on, and get them up out of the grass too. So I'd have a fast reel on this if I had a reel on it, as we're still end of March here, so it's not really flipping and frogging season. I haven't got a reel back on this one yet. It's sitting out on the shelf after being cleaned. So yeah, that's my flipping frogging rod for heavy cover. Like I said, 7'3", extra heavy, extra fast, favorite Defender. What do we got next? So we'll go with what I've been throwing my square bill on. So my square bill rod is actually an Abu Garcia Vendetta, and it's in a medium moderate, 7-foot medium moderate. And I've been using the SLX as my square bill reel, and this one's 6'3"-1, and that's the SLX. 6'3"-1, little slower, but not so slow that I can't speed it up and burn that thing a little bit. So I like that 6'3"-1. I like that medium moderate on the crankbait. I like to just let that thing load and let them really eat it. And yeah, that's what Abu Garcia Vendetta, pretty cost-effective rod, 7-foot medium moderate. And next we'll go with my deep cranking rod. So for deeper cranking, and I actually been throwing my spinnerbait on this lately, and that's because this is a glass rod. So this is a 7'4", medium heavy, moderate fiberglass, and this is the Phantom cranking rod from Favorite. So I've been throwing that spinnerbait on the glass, and if you've ever if you've ever thrown a glass rod, you know they're not as sensitive as other rods. So what I mean by that is where you feel like a tick on the wood or something and you're not sure if it's a fish, not sure. You don't feel that tick as much on this. And that's why I like it for deep cranking, because you don't get caught up on setting the hook on stuff that's not really a fish. You kind of just bulldoze through stuff with this and you don't feel it as much. And that's kind of why I've been running my spinner bait on this too, because I like running my spinner bait across the bottom. So I'm not getting lost on every rock I hit. And this thing loads up beautifully. So when you're fishing a deep crank and you're down there, you finally get there and I'm pulling it through and hitting the bottom with it, and then a fish just locks up and this thing just keeps pulling, and now the rod's completely bent and it's loaded. That's what I like about it. So I got on this. I have actually have a Tattoo SV on this, 6.3-1. And yeah, this is a 7.4 medium heavy moderate glass rod from Favorite. It's called the Phantom Glass. So that's my deep cranking rod. So the last one I'm going to show you is just, it's an everything rod. If you can only afford one, this is the rod I would suggest you get. And if you can't go technique specific with different speeds, different flexes and everything, I'd go out there, and maybe it's because I'm Favorite Army, maybe because I don't know, this rod just has a soft spot in my heart. It was one of the first bait casters I ever used, was a Favorite Defender. So at the $99 retail price point, and you can get better deals on this if you look online, this is a 7-foot medium heavy fast rod, the Favorite Defender. And remember, Favorites, like I said, I feel like are a little less heavy than other rods. I fished a chatterbait on a 7-foot medium heavy fast Defender for the last 5 years. I fished a crankbait on this rod for 5 years. I didn't wake up one day, buy 30 rods and buy technique specific rods. When I first started out, I had 3 Defender medium heavy fast rods and 3 reels, and I threw everything on those three $99 rods and reels. So if you're only going to buy one, this is the one I would buy and start off. It can flip, it can frog. I've done it all on this rod, and my buddy John would attest to that I've done everything on a Favorite Defender for years before I started really getting into the technique specific stuff. Probably technique specific stuff has come for me the last 3 to 4 years, where it's like, okay, I can throw a jerk bait on this. It's not the best tool for it. Let me put a little money into this because I put so much time into this, into getting something a little better for it. But I still have 3 of these. Like I said, I still have this is the 3rd because I broke one in half. Favorite Army replaced it free of charge. If you're not part of the Favorite Army and you use Favorite rods, you're really missing out, because they guarantee your rods for life when you jump on there. And yeah. So this is the newer one I got last year when I snapped one in half. I still have 2 of the older ones, and yeah, I still love them. I still use them. Carolina rigs, light Texas rigs. I'll even throw a chatterbait or a spinnerbait on them from time to time still. So yeah, that's some of the technique specific bait casters I have. I hope you guys like this. I know I promised you a rod video. This is what you got for now, and I mean, I'm working on that boat every day, getting out on that boat every day I can. So I appreciate you guys following along all winter. I appreciate you watching that first tournament video. Many more videos to come, guys. So I appreciate you. And like I said, I'll drop some pictures, and I'll just cut away into the pictures so you guys can look at them and really see what rod I use for what. So appreciate you guys, and have a good day.